Like altruism. How do you say it? How do you say it? Altruism or altruism? Anyways, I say altruism. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But altruism is it's kind of the antidote to narcissism. I was talking to this guy I know. We were talking about that. We're talking about doing good for goodness sake, like you're supposed to do with Santa Claus. Be good for goodness sake, with altruism. Just because you want to be good. So the opposite of that would be narcissism. Somebody would be narcissistic. They're full of themselves. But I think a healthy balance, exercise and what is it, temperance, moderation. I think it would be smart to strike a balance between narcissism and altruism, because for years now, I guess, I don't even, for decades, I understood the principle of making yourself happy. Sometimes we lose sight of that, but make yourself happy, and everybody else, if you have a good heart, everybody else is going to be happy. But, so, I guess altruism is the antidote to narcissism, because I can just make myself happy. But being good for goodness sake means that I want to take care of the people that I care about, and my fellow humans, I guess. Not to sound cliche, but my just mankind in general. Nobody likes a fuckhead. You know, so balance your narcissism with altruism, but you gotta mean it. You can't just be like, okay, well, there's this thing. You gotta mean it. And so it's like, I shall resist the dollar. What does he say? What does he say? He says, sometimes I succumb and I give the dollar, but it's a wicked dollar by and by. I should resist it. It's Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's talking about, I wish I could remember the rest of it, the previous stuff, but it was, put the quote in the comments below, but the premise, or what he was talking about, he says, what was it? Are they my poor? Right? Do I have to set every human correct, every misfortunate human? Is to get yourself correct. You know what I mean? I'll correct who I feel is necessary. Not just because you're at misfortune. It's who I feel comfortable, who I feel genuinely given to. And sometimes it's a wicked dollar, but I shall resist it by and by. You try to resist that shit. Okay, so an example is that there's people that go in the corners and they hold signs. Judging by the way they look, and trying to navigate the world, judging by the way they look, some of them are relatively healthy. Others not so much. But regardless of their health or whatever, in order to combat the judgment it's not a condemning, it's a judging. I'm making a judgment call here, a discernment, if you will, not condemning, but judging off of. In order to combat that judging, the prejudging, you go off of a higher principle. Are they putting any effort for themselves? Right? In order to combat the prejudging, you have to ask yourself, at a higher principle, are they putting in for themselves? Right? Regardless if they're standing on the street corner, it's fine. But offer some sort of, you can offer some sort of fucking service, right? You can do something for your money, something for your capital. So the people that work they are the ones that I tend to, I guess, reinforce positively. That's where my charity goes. If there is a quote unquote wicked dollar, it goes to those that are at least putting out an effort. There's people that hold signs, and there's a guy that there's a guy specifically that I'm thinking of that cleans windows. I've never had my windows cleaned from him, but I think I've given him upwards of $120. You know, I gave him 10 tens one day. That's not true. I shouldn't even be bringing this shit up. Anyways, none of that's true. I didn't do any of that. There's no 10 tens or nothing like that.